Hey guys, this is Dartimos with Dartimos Dominions. Once again, I'm back with some of the players from this game. Hi, Gaslov.
How's it going?
Grippa, how are you doing?
Yellow, still doing okay.
Maz, we get you from the beginning.
Hello.
And Nosy, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
So we got a bunch of messages. Sadly, they're too long for us to really read through the whole thing. But since we've got the player here, Maz, what are you saying in this? Do you wanna sum it up in a TLDR?
I think what I was saying here is that I was leaving my troops in one big blob instead of a formation. And my thinking was that each individual troop seemed to find his counterpart in the opposing line easier if the enemy squad was the same size than if I just had them in a line and each guy's locked shoulder to shoulder. That seemed to work better in keeping the ends of my line from getting enveloped, which was a bit counterintuitive, but that's what I'm trying to explain here.
Okay, that's really interesting. Normally a line formation works a little bit better, but I think if it's like disjointed or something, I could see that. Machaka is he's talking about the bump with Van. So Gazlov, do you want to read this off?
Yep, so his bump with Van is unfortunate. Our expansion is bad enough. We can't afford to lose provinces like that. His bless is not as crazy as it could be, but I still don't want to fight an early war with him. We have agreed to a NAP 3. I agreed to stay out of 147 and 110. 110 was not in reach anyways, water crossing, but 147 was a potential target. Still, I don't want to have to fear for my life on his border. With no easy Indies to take on...
Sorry.
I guess we're done with that.
With no easy... I'm sorry. Keep going.
With no easy Indies to take on, I'm going to consolidate for one turn before taking on the nasty cap circles, starting with the 4-war elephant province. Those can be really nasty when you are relying on your own elephants to do the trick. I don't think I have enough yet to kill it cleanly, so we'll wait a turn.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to look at is 147 and 110.
So is he saying that he's going to wait a turn to try to expand again? Because that's almost something you never want to do.
Did my 110? Oh, okay. So this is over the river right here. So you got okay.
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted that is because again my guys can sell, so I don't care about the river or and I needed access to the throne. And I'm trying to keep my neighbors from cutting me off, so that I don't have to fight all of them.
What's interesting is that you actually got a NAP 3, which is a little different than last game when we watched you. Were you actively trying to get more naps this time?
No, he offered, and I felt it was good. I don't usually offer nap 3s. I think they're, especially when napping with elves, I think it's kind of you really shouldn't nap with elves. It kind of puts you at a disadvantage, and I don't know. I tend to just not offer. I don't even bother.
That's really interesting because I when I played Ban, I napped with everybody, and it was not a regret. It made it where the coalitions never happened. I never had anybody, I never had the whole group jump in on me. But you gave a nap to Machaka. Were they not an early target? I mean, you had just bumped with them. They lost. You are 2 away from their cap. They seem to be a good target.
Well, as I said last episode, look who else I just found.
Okay, sorry, I did the last episode where...
The last episode, my number 1 threat in this game is Maverny.
Okay.
Maverny is a very, very strong astral nation. Astral spells trouble for elite troops like what Vanheim has.
Now, is that because of their... What's that, sir?
All white centaurs, so they were also on my radar.
Where are you? Are you where Pin, you're way far away.
Southeast.
You're
I'm
south.
Maverny southeast.
Okay, so you're far. Okay. Oh, so they're a threat to Pan as well.
Potentially, yes.
What makes them that threat, Nosy?
Oh, exactly what Gaslov just said. The powerful astral nation, which
You want to
anytime
go?
you're dealing with elite troops, lower in number, astral has the chance to soul slay, enslave mind, etc., etc. And for
Okay.
a nation like Pan in particular, and I gather it's the same for Vanheim, no native or weak native astral access. You have to rely on indies in order to cast anti-magic to defend against it, and then you've got no resistance to magic duel until you get, say, golems or something.
What turn do you expect? What turn do you expect them to have either mind burn or like that astral threat? What turn do you expect them to have that,
I
Gaslov?
don't believe.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
You probably around year 2 is when they have the critical mass. So if you let them live to turn 24 and beyond without harassing them in any way, they're probably going to get ahead of you.
Now, moving from the messages and kind of staying more in the Diplo scene, Nosy, you said that you have, that you've talked with. That I know you and Joe Brandon do a lot together, and are constantly in contact. Are you still planning on trying to rush him if you can?
Well, my thinking at this point was basically he was a very likely option for a first war because I could tell from all the mercs that he was buying that he was going to be expanding like crazy and was a late game threat, like mid to late game threat. I didn't particularly like. I wanted to be able to move south east to the forests there, so I knew Arco was there as well. Now, the one thing I got early intel on what his god would be, because firstly, I had a profited harpy that managed to spread my dominion there, and I saw his scales. So I could tell very early on that he had a titan of some sort. And when I saw his bless, I was able to confirm basically the exact build as a bronze colossus.
Wait, hold on. So you prophetized your harpy and
Yep.
spread your dominion.
It wasn't
Where?
an intentional spread. So the first turn that I moved the prophet, I went to that turn exactly where he's got his wind riders right now. I moved it there on the first turn it could move, and
Okay.
I spread dominion there, and I got to see his scales in the neighboring province.
Oh wow. That is that's pretty next level, dude. I'm pretty impressed.
Well, the dominion spread was incidental, but I just wanted to get vision on who had all those forests.
Yeah, it's really amazing to me because I would never think of prophetizing a harpy in order to. I mean, I'm assuming that's why you prophetized the harpy was to spread scales, correct?
No, no, no. The reason is because it's a 34. Well, with my blessed 36 map move, flying stealthy, holy 3.
Okay,
That's
that's fair.
kind of useful.
So it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, they're talking about the mercenaries and how Marverni has like 3 of them already. Do you keep an eye on the mercenaries and see who has them at all times?
Yes.
I absolutely do. I place pretty high priority on mercs myself, and I was really annoyed that I didn't get them. I got outbid on, I can't remember which ones now, but I was actively competing for these, and I just couldn't get them.
Okay, I want to know. We're gonna go down the line because this is something that's really interesting in single player. You're against the AI, and he's just gonna outbid you almost every single time. What is, if you're okay with saying, what is your bidding strategy if you know that you're gonna go against somebody for mercenaries? Maz, you're first.
I tend not to think too much about what somebody else might bid. I look pretty much at just what can I afford. In this case, I'm balancing what I can afford with what I want to spend on wind riders. And I tend to be risk averse in bidding. So I won't hold back on a recruitment party or recruiting a party to get a winning bid. Not typically. If that means, I lose and then I buy the expansion party 1 turn later, that's I won't risk that sort of double loss typically. But given those constraints, I'll bid pretty much as much as I can.
Grippa, what's your bidding strategy?
It depends on the nation I'm playing mostly, which is a cop-out answer, so let me go into more detail. For example, as Yomi, if I did not have access to the 17 provinces that give me Crystal Amazons and Crystal and Earth access and everything else, if I there is a mercenary that has native astral to him, I would prioritize him pretty well. But again, I'm Yomi, so money's not something I'm allowed to have. But for example, I just had a late age Satis game where there was the mercenary who is the what's it called, the builder guy, the guy who can upgrade the forts.
The Mason, yes.
The Mason. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word Mason. I hired him for 20 turns, building up all of my forts into like grand citadels because it's just absolutely worth it. So I guess it really depends on the type, but I don't really like to use mercenaries early on. Um, it's just a personal preference. I don't like have my game plan rest on. Boy, I hope I get the mercenaries that spawn that I could use, and also not have someone steal them from me. So
now, when the air guy comes up that you always like to grab, how much do you bid on him? Do you just keep on pushing the up button until you run out of money, or is there like some sort of secret, 10 more or something like that?
Okay, so my mercenary habits are better than they were in new casting, where I hired the air guy for 63 turns. I'm certain he's gotten more money than some of my nations have. I mean, by turn 40 of that guy, I was like, no one's probably going to get this guy, so I don't have to put that much into it. But I would typically put about 50% more than their asking price for that, something like that. But I mean, I balance it around depending on how often other people are grabbing mercenaries.
Gazlov, when you have a mercenary that you want, that you think that somebody else is going to bid against, how do you try to beat them?
Yeah, I usually go between 50 and 100% of their asking price. And the mercenaries I look for, I don't necessarily go for the strong mercs like the cavalry and the especially those war shambler guys. I tend to go for guys that give me a lot of siege strength or have a lot of just siege chaff in them. And I usually only buy them once I've got somebody under siege.
Okay, so they're normally siege chaff for you.
Yeah.
Nosy, what's your bidding strategy on somebody that you see? You see Goat or some other high profile.
I'm glad you mentioned him. I've been known to drop 7, 6, hundreds and hundreds of gold on him, where my nation requires it. And the process for me bidding is different if it's related to magic access than it is for, say, expansion. I very rarely end up getting mercenaries for expansion. But in this particular game, and especially with having the knowledge of Bronze Colossus that I potentially would have to fight early, I think it was something to the tune of 160 or 200 gold into Dagon, the sage. Because I wanted to be able to get the luck items, because I figured that smashes and luck are a good way to deal with a Bronze Colossus.
Now, what are you said the sage, and then we talked about what makes Goat so unique amongst the mercenaries, Nosy?
Oh, the thing that makes him particularly special, not only is he in blood access, but he has death 2, which means he can twice spawn himself, and then you get to keep him.
That's one thing that's really interesting. Like, now, do you have to kill him off, or do you get him right away?
As soon as twice spawn is cast, he has pledged himself to your god forever.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even know. Like, I thought you had to kill him off.
I was getting roasted for not empowering the air guy in death and twice spawning him. Instead, spent several thousand gold. Look, I just learned communions like turn 80 of that game. Twice sporting something was another few dozen turns away from that.
empowering in death and then twice spawning him is a good way to get him killed twice. It's
my
it's just
motto.
that's what's gonna happen, dude.
If Lucid ever continues new casting, you will see his unfortunate demise.
Okay, I know that this is completely off topic. How long has it been since his last new casting episode?
June, and it is now December 11th. Not that Zan and I are waiting for it or pushing him for it.
If he ever wants to get that one going, I mean, we should get a Saturday where we can get that going. Okay, so we're on to the the second message? No, the third. We're on the third message, guys. We're doing well. Okay, so Pan, Nosy, this one's you. You want to give me a TLDR?
Well, I'm assuming at this point that Therados had a Telkeen and was expanding with it because of the way his Dominion was pushing, and I assumed based on the blesses that it had the right paths for a Telkeen. I don't think that ended up being the case at all. And I don't exactly remember what was going on, but I think I wanted to bump with it if it was expanding because I figured that White Centaurs would kill an early on Telkeen.
Yeah, I think that he didn't go with the Telkeen, and it kind of hurt me a little bit because I really like the Telkeens. But yeah, so you also said that this is sadly enough your forest.
Yeah, I could tell that was in his cap circle because of the Dominion push.
You kind of got a rough start for Pan because there are no forests immediately near you. I mean, you've
The
only
nearest
got
one's 3 tiles away.
God.
That and in Therados' cap circle. That's the closest forest to me.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's 4. Oh my goodness. That's nuts, dude. Did that change your strategy at all?
Absolutely not. It changed the execution of certain things. Like obviously, normally I'd like to be popping forts up all over the place in the first year. I mean, subject to nature gem availability. That wasn't going to happen, but I'm still going to get the capital running up sacreds and pushing them out in all directions as fast as I can, and then hopefully picking someone to bully.
Okay, so sadly we don't have Schumann with us, and he wrote us a book about what happened last time. And so if you want to read this, pause it. I don't see anything. He mentions Diplo, so he said the second Diplo of this turn was with Yomi. Yomi, what was your Diplo with Helheim?
I told him I wanted the mountains, and that was it. I was like, give me the mountains, or else I'm just walking at you.
Where is... Okay, here you go. So you're talking the mountains, these two, correct?
Yes. So because it's me, I opened up the negotiations by saying I want 39. Now I had forgotten that there is a river, because its map doesn't show it, between me and 39. And the only way to get there is to go all the way around, either to go through the throne, up and then down, or all the way around. He agreed to give me 39 before either of us noticed this issue. And so it kind of became like so if I get 39, I get the throne, right? He's like, I can expand in other directions. Fine, we can have peace, because I don't want to attack you over the mountains. Where there's a cave there too, so I can just like hide out and be... I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. This is the G-rated show. So, but I could be like people who, yeah, I'll go with pain in the neck of a person hiding in mountain caves. So we ended up agreeing for peace, and then I got the mountains because otherwise, like, you know, he would have to come down there, and he was already expanding in other directions. As you can see, he's going off to like the west, and he had his own targets, and apparently I was not one of them, which was nice.
Okay, so the other one that he said that I missed out with is that he talked with you, Arco, with Maz. What did he talk, or what was yours with him?
What I remember was that his impression, he was real friendly. He wanted to set up a trade agreement pretty early on. He seemed pretty intent on not starting any early wars, which for me, I was fine with that.
Did you guys agree on any borders, or did you? Because I mean, he took two of the big provinces on your border.
Yeah, we did, and I think I made a note of this in a future episode, but I am sort of embarrassing given that I've got Wind Riders, but I had some trouble expanding, and I sort of settled on my borders through diplomatic means more than just raw winning the race, so to speak. So yeah, he and I negotiated that border, and in future I negotiate my borders with my other neighbors as well.
Your bless is not anything extremely huge. If I remember correctly, you went with mostly putting your points into your pretender, correct?
Yes, I did.
Oh God.
And yeah, this is not really the episode to reminisce on my thoughts on my build at this point, probably. But I'll just say I think I underestimated the Wind Riders in my testing.
These guys were amazing. I remember I was trying to show my wife how to play Dominions, and I was showing her all the nations. And when I tested Arco, it was the first time I'd ever tested Arco. And she's hearing me giggle in the background saying, "Oh, this is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Look at this. He can run 5 provinces over here and take this one over here." And the expansion was so easy because like it's not really that they're great troops, although they are, but that you can move them from here all the way down to, say, if they weren't war elephants, you could move them from here and attack this province and kind of just cherry pick the best provinces. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
You are still expanding, even though your bless is not hugely, is not the best Wind Rider bless. You still are expanding with Wind Riders, and you're still recruiting Wind Riders, correct?
Yeah, and Wind Riders don't need a bless to expand. The thing, just to revisit the bless a little bit, my feeling at the time was either these troops are good enough to fight, their sort of counterpart elites, or they're not. What is their role? To fight enemy armies or enemy raiding parties? Or is a role just to raid and beat PD? And if it's the latter, then you honestly don't need any bless at all. I mean, they'll take out 6 PD without any help. So then the question in my mind is, okay, well, they're good out of the gate doing that. So what else are they doing? And in the amount of testing that I gave them, I just did not find them trading cost effectively with the other elites, which sort of revisiting my thoughts on the build now. But that's why I sort of took a build, when I identified this need for a very strong anti-greed build, which I think was justified. I just didn't see the Wind Riders trading cost effectively, so that is why I went more with the Pretender.
Yes, Bob. So, how scared are you of a well-blessed, like a solid attack bless, more aggressive? I'm sorry, trying to get the right word. How do you feel towards an aggressive bless on a Wind Rider build against Vanheim?
I'm not really that afraid. I just keep my guys in a big ball, and you have the right formation, and flyers are not a huge deal. They're also size 4, and so they don't have very great attack density. So they take a lot of hits, and yeah, especially against Vanheers, they do not have enough protection and hit points to really do a lot.
If you were in Arco's position, is there something that you can do with this nation that would protect you against an Elven rush?
Well, the fact that he can raid so well is a really good deterrent. They're really annoying to fight against because they can kind of, they can really wreck your economy better than any elf can, honestly. And Yeah, I'm not really sure how to fight. Since I usually only play Vanheim, I really don't know how to fight against them as well as I know how to use them against others.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so let's move on to the next message. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this was his first message. This is the second. If you want to pause, you can read. It is kind of nice since he's not here to kind of give us his like where he is or his own perspective that we can just read it. So okay, Grippa, it's your turn, dude. Grippa, just so you know, you would make for a terrible kindergarten teacher with your language.
Okay. Listen. They need to grow up fast. So the game had fun not showing me the elephants in that province for all. It like there are 1 million elephants in that province or something like that, and the game, being the game, showed me very few elephants for the first few times, and then that previous turn they just came out with mostly elephants, and it was like 50 units, and I was like, what the hell is this?
This one right here.
Yeah, okay, so it's slingers and then elephants. And I was like, how many freaking elephants are there? There better be like 45 slingers in there and 1 heavy infantry. The hell is that? So I just avoided that province because I did not test Dione against elephants. And I was just like, nah, no. I got other places to go.
I remember asking you, Grippa, if that were in your cap circle or not. Because I figured, since it's you, it would be, and you didn't respond. That was, I'm like, oh great.
Yeah. Nosy, how many elephants do you think are in this province?
Well, you can see 4 on the actual image there, can't you? Which
but it says 50, and the majority are elephants.
Oh, it's 50. The majority are slingers and then elephants. And I was like, how many slingers?
If it's as high as 10, I'd be surprised if it's much more than that, though.
Oh, you're right. The slingers. Okay, it is mostly slingers. Okay, but yeah,
I made the same mistake.
It's only 10. It's only 10, Grippa.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
Okay, so and you finally caught on how great your start is. Now, Mads, did you see how great of a start that Grippa had?
No. One thing I'm looking forward to with these episodes is seeing what happened in this game, because I have very little idea what happened.
Okay, so Grippa got lizards, and he got Amazons, and he got the crystal mages in his cap circle. What else? I'm missing something else, Grippa. What else did you have that helped you win this game so handily?
There's a second crystal Amazon province to the south there.
Oh, there's another one.
That one there. And also there's the wolf, the cave to the north of my cap.
The Cenophans, yeah.
Yeah, that again, names, not my forte. Those things. So it was a little bit of a strongish position, except for the whole neighbor situation.
I mean, the nice thing is the elephants are protecting you against Ban. For now.
Just leave them forever.
Don't forget he can sail.
Oh, after new cats, I never forget.
The elephants are not going to save you. Okay, so let's move on to the next message. So Ubar, okay, so diplomatic. Okay, so he's seen that he still hasn't ran into any nations, but he's ran into scales. He talked to you, Grippa.
Oh yes, he did. I remember that.
Okay, so so you agreed that the border would be right here, correct?
Yeah, he wanted 32, and I was like, sure, it's a wasteland.
Yes,
it's 3 away from my cap. I have other things to focus on.
I guess. Do you know Ubar? What does Ubar get from wastelands? Do they get anything?
I don't know enough about Ubar, to be honest. I thought they started there, and I had the hardest time finding his capital because of that.
I should have asked Matt. You were just talking about him. As the words left. What does the Wastelands give you?
They've got some summons there. They're recruitable ghouls. They can summon more en masse from there. I forget what else exactly. Them for sure. Yeah, mostly some specialized summons, if I remember right.
Now, I'm not sure if he's going to bring this up, but during the interview, I was looking at the map and looking at this turn, and I saw this right here, which is in his cap circle. How much of a game changer is this for Ubar, Maz?
That's obviously a significant boon. I mean, a construction bonus in your cap circle. I actually watched that episode, and that was kind of amusing. That's massive.
I missed that. What the hell?
Like, I was in the middle of the interview, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm like trying hard. Because what happened was I was looking for resources for him, and he had his Dominion was here, and I'm like, yeah, the resources are really high in Region 23, and he goes, oh, they are? I didn't realize you don't see the resources until you find the site. And because I could see the site, I could see the bonus resources. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, there must be like some mine there or something.
Way to help the Ubar player, Dardamus.
Yeah, I know, dude. I was kicking myself so bad. What does
If it's
this
any
do?
consolation, he didn't hold it for very long.
that makes me feel better. Thanks to whoever did that. So what does this do for you, Maz? What exactly makes this such a strong site other than the 75 resources?
Right. Well, he's going to get the bonus on construction. And, this is the nation of Shaitans or Shaitans, or however you say it. It's another one of those Dominions words, I guess. So he's got he's primed to go thugging with these things. I don't think Curb really cares for the Sultans very much from what I remember, but it's another great chassis. Well, it can be, especially early game. This early game especially could be significant for
him. Can Ubar natively make hammers and make air quills?
They can make
yes.
Air quills, yes. The hammers are tricky only because they get Earth 1. They've got a lot of Earth 1, but not much more than that. So, barring something on the Pretender typically, which is a good thing to take, getting the hammers is tricky. But, one thing about this nation is they're superb at research because they've got the quills, they've got the lanterns, they've got a lot of the gem types for those, and they've got a lot of the mages to make them, and they've got a cheap research mage. So research for these guys is amazing.
Once they get the city of Brass, they do have an opportunity to get an Earth. Well, I mean, technically an Earth 3. It's it's too early in the morning to do math, but not a very good chance for an Earth 3. But they could get an Earth 2 out of this. When does this come online?
Technically when the Pretender comes online, but in practice that means year 1 with the Dormant Pretender. There's no justifiable build that I can think of where you're going to take it imprisoned, and Awake is not an option. So basically after the first year.
Okay.
And if you're running Luck, another way to get Earth 2 or Earth 3, one of the heroes he's basically a mini Rainbow Pretender. He's got every path, including
geez.
He's one of these Efreet chassis. He's got like 14 magic baths or something crazy. I'm sure he could force a hammer, but he doesn't come on very early, I don't think.
Okay, so let's move on to the next message from Therados. Oh, by the way, RCK said he's busy, so he's not going to be able to join us today. Grippa, do you want to read this for me?
Surely. Even though my expand has been slow, I have been able to take a few nice locations. I have also started hammer production on turn 5. What the hell? So things are looking pretty good at the moment.
Okay, so let's look at his positioning right here. We were looking at this, and what's interesting is I think that this is the 3-point throne underwater. He has two other thrones on the border along with a 3-pointer, and I think you only need he only needs one more beyond that in order to win the game. So he's gotten a really good expand so far. Were any of you guys wanting to, like, what was your Therados diplomatic strategy in this Gazlov? How are you looking to appease the sea god?
Magic weapons.
So you were not worried about him at all?
Yeah, I mean, at most he was going to be annoying to me. He was never going to be able to conquer me.
Would you have taken a diplomatic peace with him?
Yeah, of course, because I can't invade him either.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip you, Grippa, because I don't see you having any border with him whatsoever. And then Mads, what was your? Because did you get diplomatic ties going right away?
Yeah, right away. I was, the theme with my whole play here is paranoia over early wars. So I really did not want to be harassed by Therados while I'm assuming that's going on. So I was content just to give him one land province. As long as he wasn't aggressive with pushing Dom, that was fine with me. We pretty much had that conversation, and that's how it played out.
Now he does have his Hydromancer out and about. Let's talk about Telkeens really quickly. Nosy, I forgot, because you're sitting right on the border. What was your diplomatic tie? I should have went with you first almost.
Basically the same as Gaslov. I've got magic weapons. I've got poison resistance in my bless. I'd consider myself largely, at the very least, I'm a very expensive target for him to attack. I can't go and attack him, but he's not likely to be able to significantly damage me. Very happy to take any piece that I can get with him, and it ends up happening with Diplo in the next turn, I think.
Okay,
could be the turn after.
Does he come up to you and demand any of these provinces? Like, does he demand either of these?
There's a message I sent at the time that the Diplo that I have with him, but the basic gist of it is I end up taking that forest in his cap circle, and he offered a nap without any compensation.
He gave you a province?
Well, I took that province, and he offered a nap.
Wow. If this was me in this situation, I'd say that's my cap circle. Give me one of these two, or I'll make sure that you don't keep them the whole game. Because there's nothing that Pan's not going to come down here. If you want to go to war over these two provinces, your army's going to be over here, or whatever's rating is going to be over here, and anything that comes out of his cap can just take it back. Like for me, he's in a better position.
It would be very annoying to have to constantly defend the fort that I'd grow in that forest. I could reach that, I think, in a single turn from my cap, just with the bless that I took.
Okay. That's right. You took that weird bless, didn't you?
Yeah, I had larger and cold move, and
okay. Doesn't sound like quickness, swiftness to me.
I can add quickness later.
Okay, so but it's really interesting. Okay, so you're gonna go further into this into the next episode, correct?
Yeah. Well, as it happens, there was a message that I sent. My thoughts were that he should have been more aggressive with his diplomacy there, and a bit more bullish about it, because he's immune. He can't be attacked in the water. He doesn't currently have land that I can contest him for, or rather, I already had the land that I could be contesting with him for. So he'd have been better served by trying to get something from me in exchange for the peace.
Now we're way over. Hey, we got a Ring of Frost. We're way over time at this point, so we're not going to look at any of these. But just a general idea, and just as an omniscience person this time compared to last time, I just want to, my hat's off to you guys. Last game we had turns without any fights whatsoever. we had many players that did not expand whatsoever. In this game, you guys are all expanding. And if you see all of these fights, I just looked through all of them, and every single one of them is a successful expand. This is nuts. This is higher level play, in my opinion. Is there anything that you guys want to say in general about the early expand? Gazlov, were you happy with your early expand?
Yeah, it was going pretty average.
Agrippa, how did you feel about your early expand so far?
I was amazed I did not mess it up.
Mazarine, how did you feel?
I was a little annoyed, actually. I had some that I was worried about, even with Wind Riders, and I felt I was racing my neighbors. You mentioned high-level play. The pressure was on to beat my opponents for the key provinces. I was definitely feeling that.
Nosy, how did you feel?
I thought I was doing about par for Pan.
Okay. And what's interesting is even at this high-level play, y'all are still seem to be doing really well. It's like I say, just because you're a better player doesn't give you more troops. The lowest level player can play at this level if they take the time and they listen to the strats, they practice their expands. It's really easy to get to this level in expansion. So I want to thank you guys all for joining with us today. Gazlov, thank you so much for joining again.
Thanks for having me.
Grippa, it's great to see your awesome expand with the Onishugo. I'm sad I missed this the battle this turn.
I'm pretty good. Thank you.
Maz, excellent having you once again.
No, it's great to be here.
And Nosy, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I will see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.